Hello and welcome to our presentation from AAA Member Choice Vacations on this trip to Spain, which is leaving October 7th through the 21st for 15 days. My name is Eric Stigberg and I am the Managing Director of Marketing, Public and Government Affairs for AAA Northway. And I'm excited to be the host for this fantastic trip. Look forward to hopefully meeting many of you as you join us. I can tell you a little bit about myself before we get into the presentation. I have been with AAA Northway for almost 26 years now. Had the fortunate opportunity to travel many places, both domestically and abroad. And a number of trips I've been fortunate to take with AAA Member Choice Vacations. Those include trips to Northern California, Costa Rica, and most recently to Iceland, which was a fabulous destination. But we're here to talk today about Spain. And again, I'll be your host for AAA. And I'd like to, at this point, turn it over to Kevin Ferguson from AAA Member Choice Vacations, who'll go into the details of this great vacation.
Fantastic.
Kevin, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Eric, for this. And just want to remind you, any of our AAA consultants here at any of the AAA Northway branches, whether you're in the North Country, in Plattsburgh, Capital Region here with Schenectady, Saratoga Springs, Amsterdam, Clifton Park, Queensbury offices, of course, down in the Southern Tier in Vestal with Tammy, please reach out 877-222-8283 or AAA.com/appointment to make this all happen. So again, an amazing journey here in October, being able to embark on this Iberian Peninsula, taking in the medieval architecture, idyllic landscapes, and delectable cuisine. My name is Kevin Ferguson. I am the Business Development Manager for all of upstate New York for AAA Member Choice Vacations. Have been proudly working for the company for 15 years, both as a tour manager out on the road in the thick of it all, as well as on our sales force. Home base for me is in Syracuse. People have been asking me all the time, Kevin, when is the best time to travel here or there? And trust me, after the last 3 years of missed memories and missed experiences, the best opportunity to travel is while you can. Now, remember here, AAA Member Choice Vacations, a company I work for, has been actually voted for the 5th consecutive year as the 2022 Partner of the Year for Touring, Guided Touring. Members of the National Leadership Team have chosen us here based on not just the on-tour experience, but also how we've handled ourselves over the last couple of years here with the pandemic in these unprecedented times. Furthermore, on the left side, that Agent's Choice Award, this is a first-time award that was offered by AAA to any supplier, whether tour or cruise, on behalf of all frontline travel professionals. Basically meaning here that the travel consultants that you're working for, this is their go-to choice here because, again, of the support they've received and knowing the experience that you're going to get out on the road with us. Being a AAA member, you're going to have another value add, which is an additional $50 per person savings. So if you didn't need to use the towing or other different features here that AAA Northway offers here, well, you've had this little an additional monetary benefit here as well. Of course, we're going to be talking about this amazing journey, but I do need to address the elephant in the room. And thanks, Google. Never thought I'd actually find a photo of an elephant in a room, but you can find anything on the internet these days. When we talk about the pandemic here, we took a hard pause, just like everybody else, right around Friday the 13th, March of 2020. We realized that we need to be able to operate in an environment where the pandemic exists. We took that 100-day pause, just like everybody else, but then we were the pioneers. We went back on the road, realizing that if we're able to implement on-tour safety wellness protocols and other measures to help mitigate, then albeit, let's do it and let's continue back on. By the end of 2020, we operated 40 tours from July 3rd to the end of the year. With the vaccine rollout, we were able to return to Europe in 2021. By the end of 2021, we were able to return to 28 countries internationally, 18 of those in Europe alone, Spain and Portugal being 2 of those destinations right here as well. And by the end of 2022, we've returned to 99% of where we were pre-pandemic. Only 2 places we are not going to right now are Russia and China, and no explanation necessary for that. Now, when we've not been able to operate tours here, we've always given the option of a full money back refund. This is just showing you the financial security and the financial stability of our organization. And our tour operator that we use at Member Choice Vacations, Colette, has been there since day one. And so not a voucher, not a coupon, not a travel credit, but an opportunity of full money back refund. Now, because the world is open at this point now, once again here, is that we do have an amazing on-tour insurance as well, which still has a cancel for any reason policy with a full money back refund, which I'll talk about it later on. But that name, Colette, definitely a household name. We actually sponsor Wheel of Fortune a couple times a year. So if it's good enough for Pat and Vanna, probably good enough for you too as well. From May of 2023 onward, we are not going to be asking for travelers to divulge their vaccination status. It might unnerve you a little bit, but prior to us implementing any of these measures in 2021 and 2022, we'd done some studies and surveys in the early parts of 21, realized that 92% basically of our travelers are fully vaccinated. So knowing that you're going to be traveling with like-minded individuals in that secure environment, more powerful than ever. All right, I'm tired about talking about COVID. I'm excited about talking about this amazing journey. Vamos, let's go. Let's get right onto this journey here again. Spain's classics and Portugal. Perfect opportunity for you to get away here this fall. If you like perfect traveling weather, we really have it here on this. So to give you the Al Roker, Steve Caparizzo average weather forecast here, for Barcelona, where this trip begins on October 8th. Our flyout date is on October 7th. We're averaging temperatures in Spain roughly around 59 to 72. So 60 and 70 on average. When we are in other parts of Spain, 60 up to 80, depending on the place. And by the time we get to Lisbon, 60 and 70 are the average temperatures there. Now, in Albany, when we're leaving, we're about 50 and 60. So we're about 10 degrees higher. It's 10 to 15 degrees higher where we're going to be over there. So being that said, is that we're going to be doing a hometown group pickup from one designated location. Usually that is the AAA Half Moon office in Orchard Park. Do a quick jaunt to the Albany airport. And then from Albany, East Coast Hub Airport, across the pond, getting our way into Barcelona for our 2-night stay. 2 nights in Barcelona, then continuing with 2 nights in Valencia. Everything else will be done by motor coach on the ground here. So 2 nights Valencia, 1 night in Granada, 2 nights in Seville. And those arrows represent a choice on tour, which I'll talk about a little bit later on here. Then 2 nights in Madrid. Then we have 1 night in Elvas, just over the border here into Portugal, and then 3 nights in Lisbon, Portugal, the capital city at the end. We do have an extension beginning and end on this. So if you want to come in a little bit early, maybe do the coastline here of the Mediterranean, the Costa Brava region, we have that. At the end, if you want to experience Madeira Island, which I kind of equate to putting the lush greenery of Hawaii with the palm trees and the volcanoes, to the friendliness of the Irish people. So it's kind of putting like Ireland on top of Italy here, Ireland on top of Hawaii, and you have this amazing, lush, friendly environment right there here off the coast of Portugal. Now, this is an amazing journey here on this. I do want to advise, when we are talking about the Iberian Peninsula, there are going to be some uneven walkways here or there, some cobblestones, some steps on this here. But so again, our basic recommendation is sturdy walking shoes on this journey here. You don't want to miss a thing on this, but you also appreciate a good, relaxing experience. And that's what you're going to have here on this amazing journey. All right, so overnight flight from Albany to East Coast Hub Airport over to Barcelona gets us here into España, Spain, where we're going to be beginning our journey here in the vibrant city of Barcelona. Here, this is where it's home to 9 UNESCO World Heritage Monuments. I'll say that word UNESCO a couple times throughout this presentation, but UNESCO stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Basically saying we just need to take care of this for the patrimony of humanity. Here, It's a enchanting seaside city, boundless culture, fabled architecture, and just a world-class dining scene here as well. Very simply put, our first night, we're going to be meeting our fellow travelers here and enjoying a welcome dinner before our next day. We start with a walk from our hotel and experiencing some of Barcelona's main sites, getting to experience this amazing city as it was meant to be explored on foot. And after some free time for lunch on your own, we'll be embarking on a panoramic tour of Barcelona, showcasing the Columbus Monument that you see right here, as well as the Parc de Montjuic. Here, we'll be also learning about architecture and Spain's probably most prolific artist here, Antoni Gaudi, Gaudi. This is his Batlló house. We'll also see the Casa Mira, which is another UNESCO building, and his unfinished masterpiece here, the Sagrada Familia. Here, this is where we will meet with a local expert who will accompany us on a visit here. It's still under construction. It's been going on since it's been going on since the late 1800s. Gaudi died in 1926, and it's slated to be completed by the end of 2026. Now, Sagrada Familia in Spanish means the Holy Family, most popular monument in Spain. And so be able to not just see it from the outside, but go in, tour, have that local expert giving you that Rick Steves, that Frommers, that Condé Nast experience of giving you the information about this architecture, phenomenal design, and more is just very, very powerful there. Now, then we will, our next day, have free time to enjoy the coastal town of Peñíscola here to explore on our own. Now, perhaps we'll be able to visit the castle here, as we see with the panoramic views of the lavender and olive trees, or visit the Museo de la Mar, the Sea Museum, to discover the town's natural history. We'll end our day in Valencia. This is a treasure trove of Roman and Arabic architecture surrounded by citrus groves. And this evening we will have an optional tour that is available called the Myths and Legends, of Valencia, with a tapas dinner here. Now here on this, we'll uncover the mysteries of Valencia on a nighttime walk, delving into the area's mystical tales, hearing of the stories of local ghosts and legends as we walk along with a guide, navigating the tradition that have been passed down for centuries. And after getting a glimpse into the lesser known Valencia, toasting our evening with a beloved cocktail, digging into some tasty tapas for dinner, chatting about our take on those perplexing tales, and much more with your fellow travelers. It is done during free time, so you're not missing out on anything in lieu of doing anything else. Goes for $80 per person on it. Oh, and by the way, being a AAA member, what another added benefit that you have with your membership here is that on all of our pre-sold, we do have some pre-sold options available. You will have a $50 credit available for use on one of these pre-sold options that you can use to, again, make a little extra savings here, but also help you to budget later on down the road. So that $80, well, that would turn down to only $30 for this amazing evening here. Now, our next day, we will be doing a panoramic tour of Valencia, seeing the city of arts and sciences. This is an interesting city because you have this very ultra modern part of the city, but then you also have this, ancient part in many ways here. So you do see the dichotomy here of this. Now, the city itself, surrounded by crystal blue pools of water, as you see here. But again, this impressive example of modern architecture with this just a very multifaceted educational institution within. Next, we will explore the city's old town on foot, discovering the city and its history with a local expert. We'll be viewing the ornate 14th century Serrano's Tower, considered to be one of the largest Gothic city gateways in Europe, marveling at the beauty of the intricate architecture and more. Then we're going to arrive at the central market here in Valencia. This bustling market, one of the largest in the entire continent, shopping side by side with the locals, perfect place to experience the local culture, browse several different types of classic Spanish produce, and just to be able to even practicar su español, practice your Spanish a little bit. Enjoying that time to explore the city on your own after that. And again, your tour manager is going to be with you the entire time, giving you options, ideas, where to go, what to see, what to do. Now, later on, we're going to be traveling to Albufeira. Here in Albufeira here, we'll be enjoying a boat ride on the canals surrounding the rice field plantations. And this is where paella cuisine actually originated. Now, you may have also heard of jambalaya down in the south. Basically, almost like a paella. But this all started right here. Now we're going to be visiting a traditional fisherman's home, which is known as a barraca, which we see right here. And the original barracas were actually constructed from natural materials and covered with a straw roof. Also, we'll enjoy a paella making demonstration and then indulging ourselves in this delicious dish for lunch. So this paella, again, it's been an important symbol of the Valencian community here, and to be able to experience this in the birthplace of this cuisine, it's just awesome on so many levels there. From here, our next day, we'll be making our way to Granada. And here, this is the last great capital of the Moors in Spain, before it fell to the Catholic monarchs in 1492. Yes, the same year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Remember that Columbus monument I talked about earlier? Yeah, some ties and correlations here as well. Anyways, Granada here is located in an area called Andalusia. It sits at the foots of the Sierra Nevada mountains here and has been continuously inhabited by people for over 2,500 years, starting under ancient rule. Now, here upon arrival, we'll have some free time to explore, get acquainted here with the area, tasting the local flavors during dinner at a nearby restaurant. And then our next day, joining a local expert here for a tour of the world famous Alhambra Palace here. This is an immense hilltop palace, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, fortress complex here in Granada that was built in the 11th century, finished by the end of the 13th century, and comprised of many structures. It's basically a part of a government city here. Now, this part of the palace that we'll go to is called the Generalife, which are gardens known as the Garden of the Architect. Again, we're going during perfect traveling weather. Again, temperatures not too hot, not too cold, just right. We're not there during peak season of summertime here. The kiddies are all back in school, but to be able to see and experience the grounds with the waterfalls, the courtyards, the smaller secret gardens, and it was first constructed as a place for the sultans and the emirs who lived in the Alhambra to go and relax. And still today, one of the best preserved Moorish gardens in the entire country of Spain. Now we'll end our day in Seville, considered the cultural capital of Spain, approximately 2,200 years old. The early origins of the city date to, and this here also is located in the region of Andalusia, capital here of that region, and it is also known as the birthplace of the flamenco dance, not flamingo, flamenco. So again, the culture, the monuments, the tradition, the artistic heritage just abound here. Remember I talked to you about those choice on tour? Well, here's what it is. There's no added cost. You can do one thing, your traveling companion can do the other. Great, go back, compare notes. You're not paying an extra dime for doing so on your way to see Sevilla the way that you would choose. So one is to be doing a walking tour here, or the other one is to do a boat ride on the Guadalquivir River here. Now, enjoying the cobblestone streets in the Santa Cruz quarter here with that expert guide, admiring the whitewashed houses, the fragrant orange trees. This consists of many hidden passageways, these nooks, these crannies, these gardens, these churches, and visiting the Plaza de España, built on the side of the side in the style of the Renaissance revival with the Moorish revival architecture, just makes this look just. Again, I kept saying the word awesome, but that's what it is. This is jaw-dropping with these arches, these columns, these red brick facades, the surrounding gardens that just make this place so impressive. Or alternatively, seeing Sevilla here by boat on the Guadalquivir River, getting a different perspective altogether, gently drifting by those time-worn bridges and towers. Later on, we're going to be visiting the elaborate Seville Cathedral here, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is actually the largest Gothic church in the world, and it is home to where Christopher Columbus is entombed. Just inside the door is the monument to Columbus himself, and his tomb, again, is probably one of the most famous sites in all of Sevilla here as well. We'll be visiting and seeing the famous Geralda Bell Tower, which we see right there in the kind of the back right of that photo here, right off center here. This here, prior to the Christians and the Catholics coming in here, that served as a minaret, and where the minarets would do the call to prayer for the mosque. So this was kind of, again, hearing and understanding that this was once mosque, then turned into a cathedral. Highlighting these afternoons with just the history, but also the cuisine. We're going to end our afternoon with a light tapas lunch overlooking the cathedral here as well. And again, just getting into the history, the culture. And after 3 years of not doing anything, going anywhere, the demand for international travel is there. It is so strong. And Spain and Portugal, for value in terms of purchasing power, affordability compared to other places in Europe, it really is here in this part of Europe, here on the Iberian Peninsula. Well, in the evening, we are going to enjoy an authentic flamenco show, another UNESCO highlight here, featuring the top performers here in Sevilla. It's home to again, the flamenco, as I mentioned earlier, and there's a combination of this tour de force, the cante, the baile, and the guitarra. That's the song, the dance, and the guitar. And putting them all together, we'll learn about where this all came to be, dating back to the 17th century. Now, our next day, we will be traveling to the extraordinary Moorish city here of Cordoba. Now, Cordoba here, the capital of the Roman province way back when. So that's why you kind of see these aqueducts and some of these other different kind of unique shapes with these bridges here, located here in Andalusia. It was also a Islamic cultural center during the medieval ages. And of course, the city's heritage dates back to the Roman times, with the architecture, the Roman bridges we see right here. It's also best known for La Mezquita, which is the Spanish word for mosque. And this immense mosque here is where we'll be going in, touring and seeing here as well. We'll have a walking tour, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site here. Dates back to the 8th century, just about the time that Mick Jagger started playing for the Stones. No, but you'll be admiring these beautiful stone works and the cathedral that was finished here in the 1230s. Now, this Islamic style red and white striped arches are what are nicknamed as the forest here within the walls of this site here in La Mezquita. But there's other architectural highlights here, and again, just gives us that reminder of the glory and the importance that Cordoba had held during medieval times. We'll also get another bit of the Paul Harvey experience, the rest of the story, so to speak, here by going and touring the historic Jewish quarter. This is the best known part of the historic center, also declared as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. And here, the medieval streets have a distinctly Moorish flair to them here as well. Now, what we will then do is we will have an option to make our way over to Madrid. It is a optional experience, and I'll tell you, to get and take that train allows you to have more time to enjoy, see, and explore capital here of Madrid. So where are we? Where have we been so far? Again, we started in Barcelona. We've made our way down towards Valencia, Granada, Sevilla, Cordoba. Now we're on our way up to Madrid, the capital here of Spain. And again, this historic center will be starting at the Puerta del Sol, the Gate of the Sun, one of the best known and busiest places in all of the city here. And from here, we'll also see the Plaza Mayor, the main square with its 237 balconies that face the plaza with its 9 entryways here as well. We'll join a local expert and explore the Prado Museum for its priceless masterpieces. Not Prada, okay? The devil doesn't go there. The devil doesn't wear that either. It's Prado, Prado. And again, some of the world's finest collections of arts by such Spanish masters as Velázquez and Goya are within the museum. We'll then travel to Toledo, not Toledo. That's a city in Ohio. We're not going to Toledo. We're going to Toledo. This here, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and actually was the former capital of Spain before Madrid up until 1560. And this is also the epicenter of 3 different cultures: Christian, Jewish, and Islamic. And you're going to discover this glorious city filled with amazing medieval architecture here, with this comprehensive collections of Arabian, Jewish, Gothic, medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, and more. Now, next, we're going to visit the Church of Santo Tomé, which is home to one of the most famous masterpieces here by El Greco, called the Burial of Count Orgaz. This here dates back to the 1500s. It's more than 15 feet tall, and just as a beautiful, spiritual, mystical, components and implements here in this impressive work of art. We'll then bid Spain adios as we cross the border into Portugal. We're going into another EU country, so there's no formal border crossings, no stamps, all that. You do need a passport on this journey here, but we'll get here into Portugal and visit and start in the largest fortified city in Europe, another UNESCO World Heritage Site here, which is Elvas, Elvas. Historic center here. The castle itself dates back to right around the 13th and the 14th century. Didn't get its final shape until the 16th century. Things took times, my friend, okay? It's not done in an instant. From here, after Elvas, we will then, after we put our head to the bed there, we will continue on making our way to the capital city of Portugal, Lisbon. Lisbon here dotted with, it's dotted with these beautiful buildings and architecture, which I'll highlight here. It's also the 2nd oldest capital city in Europe. Okay, so behind Athens, Greece, is here Lisbon. And along the way, we'll be going through the olive tree plantations and the quaint farming villages to get there. We'll spend our day uncovering the legends of the country's past with our city tour here of Lisbon. And as you saw in this earlier shot here, the city is comprised of basically 7 hilltops as well on this. But here we'll be getting to also understand the spots here, like Jeronimo's Monastery, built during the Age of Discovery as a symbol of power, UNESCO World Heritage Site to itself too. The tomb to Vasco da Gama, who was a navigator, Portuguese navigator. He was the first European to make his way to by ship to India, to the spice route here. We'll then also get to see near there here the Maritime Museum, located within the monastery, contains over 17,000 islands. Why am I talking about navigators? Well, this is the epicenter of European navigation, was Portugal. We'll be taken in the Tower of Belém here. And it's also home to the Monument of Discoveries. The tower itself not only functions as a fortress, as you see right here, but also as an ongoing part for explorers during that Age of Discovery. Now, there's over 30 different statues at that monument for different Portuguese explorers, like Bartholomew Dias, who was the first to make his way to the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, present-day South Africa, and then, of course, da Gama, and many, many, many more. From here, we will then make our way to other parts of the city here, where we will have a complete free day at leisure. Now, whether that's taking a historic tram to the Alhambra district, which you see right here, which is built on one of those 7 hills that comprise of the city, Again, this district has cobblestone streets, its winding roads, its narrow walkways, and these hand-painted tiles that you see right here. That's something that is really, really a great keepsake from Portugal to bring home, called azulejos, which are hand-painted tiles. Perhaps we will, if you want to get to the coastline here, we will have an optional tour to get to the Estrel coast, to the fishing city here, or fishing village here of Cascais. Now, Cascais is located on the Portuguese Riviera. It was known as the playground of kings, back in its heyday here. But today, still, many historical world leaders have chosen this resort area as their home, with this sophisticated atmosphere, as just one point. Now, on this fascinating tour, we're going to also stop and visit the charming village of Sintra, which was where Lord Byron said it was the most beautiful place he had ever laid his eyes on. So we're bringing you to the most beautiful place in the world. Okay, hey, can't go wrong there. We'll also get to Cabo de Roca, which is the westernmost point in continental Europe. We'll travel along the rugged coastline, passing by Guincho Beach, a favorite spot for windsurfers, and the cosmopolitan, area here of Cascais. How I kind of described Cascais is you have a little bit of this New England feel, with like Newport with the castles and stuff like that in Rhode Island. But then you also have palm trees that grow here. So you have a little bit of Hawaii. You'll have great seafood that's here in this area here as well. And of course, this is just a captivating area with this Moorish style, the forts, the castles, these luxurious homes, the famous casino, the gardens, and much more. We're bringing you to these places that you've never heard of because it just warrants it. And again, this is an option done during free time. You're not missing out in anything of doing anything else. Goes for about 4 hours from stop to finish. We have the private transportation, a local guide who's included, as well as, of course, the tour manager will be on hand here. Goes for $99 per person on it. Now, in the evening here, we will have an optional tour that is available, and that is understanding and exploring into the the musical traditions of Portugal with dinner. Goes for $130 per person, and what that lady is doing is she's not singing for her dessert. She is singing what is called the fado, Fado. Now, the fado here was actually declared as a UNESCO World Heritage piece of music, basically. Here it's a celebrated form of music that captures what is known to be as Portuguese. Now, people really don't know where fado came from, but it again contains a cello, usually a guitar, a singer. The translation literally directly means a cry or a wail, and it was done, and a lot of the stories around it have to do with the fishermen who went out to sea and never came home, and the wife or the spouse was awaiting and crying for them to return. Well, that's just one bit of this whole thing here. So you're not listening to cry music here, but what you'll do is listen and understand and gain a much better appreciation here while enjoying a 3-course candlelight dinner, regional Portuguese cuisine, and of course, vino, wine. I have to mention this to you. This is the cork capital of the world, is Portugal. So again, the cork it comes from a tree, all that stuff here. It's just an experience, a show, and an evening that you just have to include when you're visiting Portugal. Again, it goes for $130 per person on it. Now, our next day, we'll be visiting one of Portugal's most famous towns, which is Obidos. Now, Obidos, medieval town, dates back to the Roman times. I think you've heard that a couple times before in earlier slides, but this is located right along the Atlantic coast on a hilltop, and you'll have time to freely explore Obidos, taking in its beauty here as well. Or if you just want to try one of the local delicacies, that is sour cherry liquor that is served in chocolate cups. The first shot, you'll be able to understand Portuguese. The second one, you'll be able to speak Portuguese. And the third one, your traveling companion will speak English to tell you to get back on the coach. Yeah. Anyways, simply just enjoying those narrow streets, those picture perfect alleyways. That's what you've got here. And we'll gather this evening for our farewell dinner, celebrating to the end of an absolutely unforgettable trip to Spain and Portugal. As we depart home for Portugal with depart home with Portugal and Spain in our hearts as our tour draws to a close here today. We have just amazing experiences lined up for you. That panoramic tour of Barcelona, seeing the iconic landmarks, visiting the Sagrada Familia, other places done by Gaudi, getting to Peniscola, the coastal town, having free time there, diving into the city of Valencia on a walking tour where the local experts seeing some of the most famous landmarks, having a taste of authentic paella in the birthplace of the cuisine itself, visiting an original fisherman's home right along the shores, visiting Granada, seeing the world famous Alhambra, along with the beautiful Generalife Gardens, the cultural capital of Spain is Seville. We're here experiencing a flamenco show, embarking on a walking tour in Cordoba and exploring the Jewish quarter. Madrid, Toledo, guided tours highlighting some of the two cities' most important and iconic buildings and its other features. Taking in Portugal's vibrant capital of Lisbon with its city tour and again, its renowned destinations, the medieval town of Obidos, and much, much more. Again, your friends that don't go on this trip are going to ask you a simple three-word question. How was it? Your simple yet profound three-word answer back is you missed out. Of course, now, if you want to come in ahead of time, we'll take care of the transportation, all that to get you there. This is to Barcelona and the Costa Brava region here. Just kicking off our adventure, helping to get over jet lag, exploring this region a little bit more in depth. This is a hosted experience, which is a mixture of both independent exploration and guided sightseeing experiences here. So we'll have a local representative revealing more of what the destination has to offer, but also giving you that flexibility of going out and venturing on your own. We'll have breakfast included daily on it, transfers included to and from the airport here as well. Goes for $12.99 per person, double occupancy on that, or $15.99 as a solo traveler here. Starting in the vibrant, beautiful capital here of Barcelona here. This is just some of the other parts here. This is a shot here of the park areas here, also done by Gaudi with the mosaics. And again, just a spark of culture when you get here. We'll also then go to the capital city of Catalonia here. Again, Barcelona, but seeing it in a different perspective, getting to the Gothic quarter here, and getting into those medieval alleyways and most interesting neighborhoods of Barcelona. And then the rest of the day, just to be on your own to enjoy and see whatever way that you choose. Our next day, we'll set out for Girona in the morning. This is a medieval city known for its old quarter. We'll meet our local guide, taking a city tour here before enjoying lunch at a local restaurant, and then heading to the Catalonian coast, to the Costa Brava region. Seaside hotel for 3 nights here with its incredibly alluring, atmosphere here. It's a perfect region to spend our days relaxing and exploring. Here, we'll be touring and seeing Costa Brava how we'd like. If you want to head down to the private beach, you can. Why I want to do this trip in October is guess when the water is warmest? Late summer. This is it. So again, dip your feet in, get in, and enjoy, venture into the local towns, maybe some retail therapy, souvenir shopping. Anyways, our next day, our local guide will bring us to an amazing little village here called the Calle de Portugal, which is where we'll have a coastal walk down to the another quaint village here called Llafranc. We'll then go to the Dali Theater Museum, named after Salvador Dali. Again, very famous, prolific artist here who was in his prime during the 1950s and 1960s here. Surreal outside architecture matches the legendary work inside. And after that, we'll take in the mind-boggling art of Dali himself before continuing to the medieval village of Besalú for free time and lunch. We'll arrive back to our hotel with enough time to to relax before dinner that evening. And then our next day, we will transfer from Costa Brava to Barcelona to meet with the rest of our travelers here and who are just coming in to enjoy that trip. So again, that's our pre-tour on that. Again, $12.99 or $15.99 as a solo traveler on it. The extension at the end off of Portugal is to be, not missed as well. This is Madeira Island. This is the one that I mentioned that it is like putting Hawaii on top of Ireland or vice versa here. This goes for $12.49 per person, double occupancy, land and air inclusive, because we have to fly out here, or $14.99 as a solo traveler. But letting that adventure continue, choosing this 4-night Madeira Island post-tour extension, which Madeira just boasts this majestic mountain ranges, volcanic caves, great subtropical climate here. Again, and hosted experience, having both a mix of independent exploration as well as those guided sightseeing experiences is what you're going to have on this. Wow, look at this right here. Flying to Madeira Island, also known as the Pearl of the Atlantic. It boasts a subtropical climate, majestic mountain ranges, as I mentioned here. After free time for lunch, on arrival here, we'll get to their capital city, which is Funchal. It's the downtown area. We'll tour with a local expert during a walking tour, visiting the botanical gardens of Madeira with its vast collections of more than 2,500 plants from all the continents. It has a unique history, and we're going to discover that. And we'll have our leisurely paced tour here of Funchal with its plazas, the colonial mansions, the 15th century cathedral, the local market, and much more. Our next day is going to be on our own to enjoy and to explore. And no matter how we spend the day, we'll gather in the evening for a traditional dinner known as an espetada, which is basically cooked over an open fire. Kind of think of almost in the sense of a Hawaiian luau of how it's cooked. Folk dancers, lively music entertain us here as we feast and enjoy life. Our next day, traveling to Camara de Lobos, which is a traditional village with a wonderful bay. And along the way, we will drive these mountain roads and past the banana plantations and the vineyards, while en route to the second highest cliff here, which is Cabo Girao. We'll arrive in a fishing village of Porto Moniz, have free time for a swim in the natural volcanic pools, as we see right here, before we travel back to Funchal. Our next day is where we will board our flight back from the island back to Lisbon. We have a day at leisure in Lisbon, and then we'll fly out our next morning after an overnight stay in Lisbon at the end. Now, again, we will be doing a hometown pickup, whether you're doing just the standalone Spain and Portugal, or if you're going to be doing those extensions, we will make sure that you're taken care of here as well with that hometown group pickup from AAA in Half Moon at the Clifton Park office here. And from here, again, we'll make sure that if you're doing an extension, get you right back as well too. We won't leave you stranded. I should mention this. This is not just dedicated to people in upstate New York. If you have a family member that lives in another part of the country, or if you're already down in Florida, you're a snowbird down there in October, okay, guess what? We'll fly you out. We'll adjust the rate accordingly based on your airport. But again, we want to let you know that this is not just confined to us here in the Empire State. We do have those personalizations I mentioned to you earlier here as well. And of course, that industry leading cancel for any reason insurance. Sick cat, bad hair day, bad hair life, hangnail, hangover, whatever the reason, literally to the day prior, if you have to cancel for any reason, full 100% money back refund. Not a coupon, not a travel credit, not an IOU, not Kohl's cash, as I mentioned. It's better to have insurance and not need it than need it and not have it. And truly, it is the kind of peace of mind that you can't put a price tag on. While you're on tour, you're also going to be covered and taken care of here as well. It's better to, I always get this question, is this trip popular? Yes, it is. It's in our top 20 tours here. It's easier to get you off of a trip that you're signed up for rather than waiting, dragging your feet. Because I will let you know, is up until April the 8th, if you commit and say, I want to do this, up until April 8th, if you have to cancel for any reason, you're going to get everything back, including your insurance. So you're literally not out one penny. From the 9th till the day prior here in October, you get everything back minus the cost of the insurance. But that's, again, why you have insurance. Once you come home from this trip, or if you went on a past tour with AAA Member Choice Vacations, as Eric said earlier here as well, we have $100 to $150 off your next trip as a way of saying thanks. So instead of a toothbrush holder or a tote bag, we want to get you a little bit extra value add there. Again, you do need to have a passport. Look to see when your passport's due to expire. If it's due to expire in the fall or in the spring of 2024, well, take this time now to go and get it renewed, get it updated here. But beforehand, reach out, connect with your AAA Northway travel consultant. Let them know how your name is spelled out on your passport exactly. Give us all those other facts, and they'll follow up with you just to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Now, to find out more, you can go right to our trip dedicated webpage, which is at gateway.memberchoicevacationscom/link/1089-320. Don't worry, I'll have that for you at the end. There's also a sign up now button. That QR code that you see the dinosaur there on the right hand side, I'll have it for you later on too, but it actually leads us to our sign up now component that's listed right here. Now, I want to point out up to the right hand side, it says email to a friend. Email to a friend, you can share the information, share the news to anybody buddy here about this trip. And that's the thing at this time of year, people are asking, hey, what am I doing later on this year? You've got the time to budget plan. And again, the more the merrier. We'd love to have you have your friends join you on this awesome trip. What's also important with this web link, I want to point out to you, is if you scroll down later on, it will also have the travel tips, the what to wear, the currency, all those other questions, the voltage, money, all listed right there. So it's a great way if you want to know even more in advance, just take a look at that web link. But if you click sign up now, it's easy drop downs, very, very turnkey, where you just put all your information in, and you can do it on your time. Of course, if you want to set this up, any of our travel agents at AAA Northway offices, as I mentioned earlier, are there for you. Just set up that appointment, set up that time to connect, and they can walk you through it and make it happen right there. Booking early and saving, well, this is why we're promoting it now, because the early bird really does get the travel worm on this here as well. And so up to April the 8th, you're going to be able to lock in that early savings, which I have on my next screen already for you. Here's the breakdown on everything, my friends. $600 is the deposit here. At the time of deposit is when the insurance is due. Again, $399, so it makes it $999 per person on that. Deposits due again by the 8th. Just saying, hey, I putting that financial commitment in. Full payment is not due until basically almost the end of July on this, on July 25th. So you have time to budget, plan, all of those accordingly there. And again, if you have to bounce off early, up until the 8th of April, you get everything back, including the insurance. So literally there's no financial repercussion there. This includes your round trip transfers to and from Albany, your round trip air from Albany, your air taxes, your hotel and airport to hotel transfers in Barcelona, out of Lisbon, your hotels, your porterage, 20 meals included on this, $49.99 per person, double occupancy. Great price on this for what you're doing and seeing. With that $399 insurance, that makes it $53.98 insurance inclusive for doubles. As a solo traveler, $62.99 on this here. If you find a roommate, we'll bring that price down here. And that, again, $62.99 plus $399, $66.98 respectively there. I never quote Facebook, but I will this time. You know that voice in your head that's telling you to travel? Simply put, listen to it. 10 years from now, you really wish you did. So the best time to travel, my friends, is while you can. Again, reach out to any of our AAA Northway travel consultants at 877-222-8283 or AAA.com/appointment to set up that time to connect. And again, on behalf of all of us here at AAA Northway, we want to see you here October 7th to the 21st here. Travel at northway.aaa.com, gateway.memberchoicevacationscom/link/1089-320. On behalf of Northway, muchas gracias, muito obrigado. We look forward to having you October 7th to 21 in Spain and Portugal with AAA Member Choice Vacations and AAA Northway.